Hey everybody, Jennifer from Scrapping Under the Influence. I am here today with my first project for Country Craft Creations using Winter Magic. This was my most recent design team package. I've had it a couple of weeks. I just have not had a chance until today to get to it. The papers in this collection are absolutely gorgeous. They're all in the tones of the blue and white, and they are just fabulous. So what I have done is a very small 4.5 by 4.5 album with a belly band, and I've got a shaker on the belly band using one of the shaker domes that Tamara had in the shop in the spring. The ones she has right now are actually tree shaped, which would also be adorable. And I also am using the Art Glitter Pearl glitter that she also has new in the store. First time I've ever used it, it was absolutely amazing. And what I did is I took the Art Glitter glue with the fine metal tip, and I went over where the swirls are on this cut apart, and both that are outside my thing and then mirrored where they are inside my little shaker dome, and then went around the outside edge of my shaker dome. And I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and it worked beautifully. There's a couple spots I missed over here, but it's okay. So I've got some little shakers in there. I've got some pieces down here on the bottom that are popped up just to kind of act as a stopper for the shaker for your belly band. So that whole thing comes off. 1.5 inch spine, kept the outside fairly simple. I've got one of the frames and tags pieces just glued down flat right here. These are some of the stickers that I've just backed on some cardstock and popped up here to act, like I said, as a stopper for the belly band. Excuse me. And this project, honestly, I was surprised how little paper this took, and that, of course, would depend on how you matted it. So to build the base and the pages and the inserts, it took me, I think, 7 sheets of artisan cardstock. And then I used 1 sheet of the 3x4 cut aparts, 1 sheet of 4x4 cut aparts, and then like a strip off of one of the other patterns, which is this one, and this is the back side of this pattern with the little animals on it. So when you open it up, we've got just a very simple pocket on the inside. And what I've done, and this is a little bit different, so the pages each have an 1/8 inch gusset, okay? They are attached to the hinge on one side only, and that is because this whole little flap thing is actually your insert. So it's a 4x4 accordion insert. I did not mat here on the other pieces of this because I actually have pictures I think I'm going to put in this, and I didn't want to add too much bulk to it by matting it and then putting the pictures in there. When I do get my pictures figured out, I might just kind of tuck them in here and see how it slides in and out at that point, and then kind of go from there. And I may end up adding matting later on. But I've just got the 4x4 cut aparts and the 3x4 cut aparts. Just a little strip off of the back side of, I believe this was the back side of the 4x4 cut aparts. And then 1 sheet of the matching solids. That was the other one I used. But, so this can slide in from this side, or it can slide in from this side, okay? So the way I have laid this out and matted this, I've got this one sliding in from the spine side. When you go to the next page, it's sliding out from the outside edge, okay? So again, you've got that nice little accordion that will hold several pictures there. You've got space here for journaling or another picture. And then we come over to this side, and again, I can get a hold of it. Is it caught? Did I glue it by mistake? No, it's just caught. Okay. Maybe. Maybe not. There we go. Didn't want to come out. So again, we've just got our little insert here. That slides right back in there. And again, there's the insert there. And again here. And these are just little acrylic snowflakes I had in my stash. So all of these come out So you end up with a lot of space for pictures. I actually, because there's 6 of these little inserts, each of them will hold 6 pictures. You actually can get 36 pictures in this album, not including the space on the front of each one of these pages underneath where these flaps go. So for example, let me pull both of these out. Okay, so you've got space here and here as well when those inserts are pulled all the way out. Okay, so you can get a whole bunch in here for as small as this is, which is why I kept the matting fairly simple in this, because once you get pictures in here, this is going to be pretty packed for as small as it is. And then we've got just another pocket back here, another one of the ephemera pieces, and then our little belly band that just slides on here and holds it closed and keeps those little inserts from sliding out. And there you go. Super simple to put together. I think total start to finish, and I was still planning it as I went. I think it took me about an hour. So super easy project. Tutorial will start right now. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 pieces of chipboard 4.5 by 4.5 and 1 piece 1.5 by 4.5. We are going to wrap these. The 4.5-inch pieces are going to get wrapped with a piece 6.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to get my 1-inch spacers in here. And maybe I'm going to grab my little pokey tool thingy. That's not it. It's because it's not in here the right way, that's why. Put it back wrong. All right. Okay. Drop that down there. Do the same thing with the other piece. Maybe. There we go. Okay. And again, for our spine, we need a piece that is 6.5 by 4.5, hopefully. So we measured right. Let's just dry fit. Yep, we're good. So 6.5 by 4.5 to wrap the spine. Crying out loud, if any of this would peel off, right? That would help. Okay, so I'm going to get my spacers out of the way. And my scoreboard out of the way for a minute. And we are going to go ahead and use our chipboard. And I've apparently lost my other bone folder somewhere here on my desk, so we're going to use this one, even though it's not my favorite. And we're just going to fold and burnish, and fold and burnish. And we're just going to use the chipboard to help fold. Okay. Same thing with the other two. Then we're going to cut out on those fold lines. I'm going to cut out that corner on all 4 corners. that you've done that, you're going to fold this in and you're going to look and see if you need to miter. If you do need to miter this a little bit, you're just going to put your scissors up against the edge of your chipboard and tilt it in ever so slightly, because you don't want anything hanging off over the edge, because when we wrap this, of course, it will then hang over the edge once it's wrapped. So you want to check this going both ways. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this one. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, and then again, you're going to check and make sure you don't have anything hanging over. So, before we go any further, and I really wish I knew what I did with that other bone folder, because this is going to drive me absolutely insane. Okay. What we're going to do is you want to work this chip, or the cardstock, over the edge of that chipboard. Okay. So I'm literally, with my spine piece, just running along the edge of that chipboard and kind of pushing that down. So you can see how, there we go. You can see how there's more definition where that crease is. That's what we want, okay? And it's really hard to see on this cardstock, and I apologize. Okay. All right, so I got that ready. I'm going to come in here, and you can do this entirely with glue. It's up to you. I do like to use both the glue and the score tape on this. We're going to fold these end tabs over. And our wings, so these pieces out here on our spine are what are going to, why did I put that there? That's not right. Attach the cover pieces to the spine. So let's go ahead and get the backing off of these two. Take my glue, I'm going to go right along the edge of that chipboard and then in between. Use the bone folder, push that up against the chipboard and then over and down. Turn it around, do the opposite end. Okay, so we can set that one aside. We're going to do the same thing with both of these, only we're going to wrap all four sides. So I'm going to go around with my 1/4 inch score tape first. right. I'm going to go ahead and do the tape on this one as well so I can put the tape to the side. If it wants to tear for me, which it didn't want to. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just burnish this down. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing all the way around. Okay. And then I'm going to take my glue again. I'm going to go down along the edge of the chipboard, get my little squiggle there between the chipboard and the tape, and then use my bone folder, push that up, oops, and then over and burnish it down. Again. Up, over and down. Okay. Okay. Do the same thing. Excuse me. Same thing on the other piece. Okay. Go across. All right, so now I'm going to take my spine piece. I am going to do score tape on this outside edge, and then I'm going to do it in the inside here about 1/8 of an inch away from the chipboard. Okay, let me hold that up where you can kind of see that. Okay, there's my chipboard. I'm going about 1/8 of an inch away. Why is this? Sorry, my light is like really screwy on this today. Oh, that's worse. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that got changed, but here we are. Okay. So again, we're seeing about 1/8 of an inch away from the chipboard. I'm going to pick a side. I'm going to pull my backing off. You want the good side facing up. Good side facing up. Okay. Oops, let's not do that. Okay, so I'm going to start with my chipboard on top of the spine, and I'm just going to pull it to the side until I feel it slide off the edge, and then I'm going to put it down. Turn it over and burnish that down. Okay, same thing on the other side. And again, starting with the chipboard on top of the spine, pull it over until you feel it slide off the edge of that chipboard, and then drop it down. Burnish, and then what I usually do is just kind of burnish and push that spine down in between those two cover pieces. Okay, so there's our base. We're going to reinforce this with a piece that is 4 3/8 by, I want to say 5. Yep, 5 inches. I do have this covered in tape as well, just because we want it to adhere all the way. We don't want it to slide or bubble or anything like that. And in this case, if you do use the wet glue, then that's exactly what can happen, is this can move. Okay, burnish that down. And I am going to take my bone folder, and since this is my little bit more sharp one, because I'm not sure where my other one has disappeared to, I'm going to turn it so I've got kind of a dull side, and I'm just going to work that chipboard down into that crease as I fold that up. Okay, do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, and there is our cover. Okay, so let's look at, put my thing away, let me clear this stuff off. And let's grab the scoreboard again. So our hinge, you need a piece that is 4 inches by, let me turn it right, 4 inches by 4 1/8, but you want it just a hair under 1/8 so that our page bases are going to slide over this. Okay, so with the 4-inch side at the top of the scoreboard, you're going to score it every 1/2 inch all the way across. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2. Okay. I'm going to fold up my first hinge, burnish it down, and then add my glue. I'll burnish that down again. Wipe up any glue that happens to come out. And fold it back on itself. And there's our first hinge. Okay, you're going to skip your next little 1/2 inch spot and fold the next 2 over. Okay, I'm going to get burnish, glue, burnish again, and And then we're going to fold this back this way and burnish. And back the other way and burnish. Okay, now we're going to do our last, because there's only 3 pages in this. It's a small album. And again, we're going to get our adhesive, burnish, and then fold it back on itself and burnish one more time. Okay, so here's our little hinge. We are not going to put this in yet until we have our pages, because our pages on this are going to be a little bit different than anything you probably have done up to this point. So you need 3 page bases, 4 1/8 by 9. We are going to score these at, let me double check my notes, 4 1/8, 4 1/4, 8 3/8, 8 1/2. Okay, so these pages are going to have an 1/8 inch gusset. Okay, we're going to do that with all 3. So again, 9 inch at the top of the scoreboard, 4 1/8, 4 1/4, 8 3/8, 8 1/2. Nope, that's my scored pile. This is my unscored pile. So one more time, 4 1/8, 4 1/4, 8 3/8, 8 1/2. Okay. So how this is going to work, you're going to fold your 1/8 inch score lines. So you're going to have an 1/8 of an inch gusset. Okay. And do the same thing on the opposite side. So this is what our page is going to look like. Okay. You're going to put glue on this 1/2 inch tab. Put that down. Okay. And then this is going to go onto our hinge. Okay. And it is going to go all the way to one side. Okay. So you're going to have an opening that's going to go all the way through. Okay. So again, here you're going to have an opening that's going to go all the way through to the spine. And again, here. Okay. So let's go ahead and assemble all 3 of these pages. So again, I'm just starting. Doesn't matter if you start with the middle ones or the end ones. It doesn't make any difference. But you want to fold both of those score lines so that you have your 1/8 inch gusset, and then close up your page. Okay, one more time. Okay, and again. Okay. So now, when you do this, you're going to want the outside, the ones that go on the outside, you're going to put your glue on the inside of this tab so that that opening is going to be on the outside edge here. Okay. So I'm going to get glue on that inside tab. And the reason we're putting these on here before we put it down in the book is I think it's going to be easier to slip these on. And you want to leave about 1/16 of an inch or so from the edge. And this is why, so that I can actually burnish this down against the table. Okay. And pinch it, because it will be easier to do with this outside of the book than inside the book. Okay. So our next one, we're going to glue it down on that same side. So that the open bottom is going to the same side. Okay. And again, I'm just bringing this up about 1/16 of an inch from the bottom of my tab, or my hinge, that is. And then down we go. Okay. So we've got these nice openings on the ends of our pages. Okay, and then for this outside one, we're going to go on this inside again. So there are our 3 pages. They've got their gussets here. You can go ahead and, if you would like to mat underneath this, you can. I'm actually going to leave it as is. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my adhesive on here. Okay, and you're just going to center this up, side to side, top to bottom. Once you've got it centered, which I'm slightly off here and I'm not sure why. There we go. Then I'm just going to come in here and just burnish that down just a little bit. Okay, so there's our 3 pages. And yes, it's not going to go completely flat like it would with a traditional page, but it's okay because we're going to do something kind of cool. So you're going to need 6 pieces, 4 by 12. And what we're going to do is score these, all 6 of these, at 4 inches and at 8 inches. Okay. 4 inches and 8 inches. Okay, so we've got those. What we're going to do is you're going to take one, you're going to fold mountain, burnish it down. The other one is going to be a valley fold. Okay, so you're going to have basically like an accordion fold here. Okay, let me do a second one so I can show you how this is all going to work. So how this is going to work is you're going to have your little pages here, and that the two are going to slide in here. Two more are going to slide in from the other side. So when you open this up, you're going to have your flap, you're going to have your whole little booklet you can pull out, and it's going to be the same on both sides. So you're getting a whole lot of picture space in a very small amount of an album. Okay, so that's how those are going to go. And so that those do fold flat, that's where I'm saying you want to attach them, and it may be easier, you might find it easier to attach your hinge and then attach those inside the book. I just thought it was a little bit easier to get them in and get them down with them outside. That's entirely up to you. Just make sure either way you're leaving a little bit of space, because that page is on the chunkier side because of that gusset. In order to make sure it's going to turn right, you need to leave just a little bit of space. You don't want it going all the way to the bottom. Okay? So we're here. And again. And two more. And really, with the way we've left this open to this side, we really even, which I didn't test this on my prototype, so I might be wrong. We'll see here in a minute. You should be able to slide these in from the opposite side as well if you wanted to. And look at that. So that would pull out that way, and this one would pull out this way. You can do it the same thing on this inside one. And on this one, oh, no, not that one. That's the wrong side. It's on the other side. On this side as well. So you'll just need to decide which way you want those to come in and out before you mat. Okay, but there's our pages. Okay, so now we've got two pieces that are 5 1/4 by 3. We're going to score these at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. And these are the pockets that are going to go on the front and back inside cover. Okay. So for these, you're going to miter at the top, like so. And then down here on this bottom corner, you're going to miter right through where those score lines cross. This is going to keep your pocket from being bulky, and it should sit nice and flat. Okay, so I'm going to fold and burnish. going to go down right here. So I'm going to get glue on my bottom tab first. And I can line this up where I want it. And I'm going to put it more to this outside edge. Put that down. Open it up, burnish down there. And then glue on the sides. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with the back pocket. And I didn't need to put glue on that side first, but it's okay. We'll just do this one that way, since I know where I'm going with it. Okay. All right, so there's our pockets. The only other thing we're going to do is a belly band. Okay, so I am going to do a belly band closure on this that's going to slide on and off. If you wanted ribbon, of course, you could do that as well. If you want to do the belly band, you're going to need 2 pieces, 7 inches long, 1.5 inches high. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure in 1/2 inch from the end, because we need to attach these 2 pieces together. Okay. So I'm just going to line that up on top of the other one. Let's try to keep it straight, unlike what I just did there. Okay. So then, put it in the scoreboard. I'm going to score it at 2.5 inches and 4 3/8. Turn it around. And I just want to make sure that I've got so I need to come over. Okay, so then we're going to, once you turn it around, you're going to score it at 4 1/2 and 2 5/8. Okay, so that's going to give you your gusset, which you're going to want to double check. So the reason I have 1 7/8 for the gusset is I literally have put my ruler on here and gone, okay, with the spine itself and then the cover pieces and the little bit of a gusset that you do get doing it in this wrap method, I end up with 1 7/8. Okay, so I'm just going to double check this before I glue anything, because I do want it on the front to be the same width for this, the front opening of the book, as I'd have it for my the side that's up against the spine. I know what I'm trying to say, I promise. Okay, so that does fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this one over flat, burnish that down. I'm going to fold this from the second score line, fold it flat, make sure it's lined up on top perfectly, and then that's how I know where I need to put my glue. And again, it should overlap by about 1/2 inch. Okay. And then I can fold it back the other way, and there's my belly band that will then slide on here like so. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is I am going to do a shaker element that's going to sit on top of this belly band. So what I'm going to do is I've got a piece of 3x4 that I'm going to center, glue down onto the back side of the belly band and center. Okay. I'm going to mat all around the belly band before I put the other piece on. And then my shaker is going to be built on top of one of the 3x4 cut aparts that we're going to cut down just a little bit. So If you want to measure this, you can, just to make sure it's centered. So my belly band is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go about 3/4. And then on here, we're going to say about like so. Just very light marks, just to kind of help me visually line up where I need this to sit so that it's nice and centered and so that it looks nice. Okay. Oops. Get my glue. Line it up. Make sure it's straight as you can get it. It's handmade. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And I'm just going to flip it upside down and burnish it down. So I'm going to mat this before I put this down. And then I will be back in just a second and we'll build our shaker. Okay, so for our shaker, I am using one of the 3x4 cut-aparts, and then I've got this little dome that you may have bought them. Tamara had them in the spring. You may have picked them up then. I think she is getting more in. I just don't know if she has them or not yet. So what we're going to do is this little dome is going to go on top of this 3x4 cut-apart, but we need to trim it down just a tiny bit. So I am going to take literally a 1/16 of an inch off of each side so that it will be down to 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And the reason I'm doing it that way is so that it's still centered, that the little bear and his sentiment and everything are still centered. Okay. So all I'm going to do, and if you didn't get those right now, she does have some little tree ones that you could actually just do on one of the 3x4 pattern. There's a snowflake pattern with this paper that is just gorgeous. Actually, the back side of this one's really pretty. That you could use that one. You could use, so hold on just a second. I don't remember which one it was. Bear with me. And I did end up buying a second collection of this because it's just so pretty. This one. So, I mean, how pretty would that be with that ombre to do that with one of these little trees on the top on that shaker, or on that belly band? That would just be absolutely adorable. But we are going to go with my original plan here. And then I've got these little fake snow pieces from, I think these were dollar store. Hobby Lobby had some too. These were dollar store that we're going to use on there. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this down. I do want to ink this first. I should have gotten my ink ready. I apologize. I did get some new ink for Christmas, so apologize. Let me open this up really quick. And I couldn't find my little powder puff ink that I like, the quick coats ones. So we're going to go with this one. It'll work just beautifully. In fact, do I want to use the brown or do I want to use the navy? You know what? We're going to use navy. So again, sorry, I'm incredibly disorganized today for some reason. I think probably because I've been off work since the 21st, and between Christmas and everything and not being at work, I'm like all screwed up as far as what the day of the week it really is. So I will just go ahead and apologize and we'll go from there. So hold on. Let me get one of my blending brushes. Get a new one out. Okay. go ahead and just ink the edges of this ever so slightly. Okay, set that aside and grab my glue. Just center that up. And then this has adhesive on here. But before we do that, let me get these open because I have a feeling they're going to be really staticky, and now I'm debating if I really want to use them. Give me 2 seconds. Let me look at my shaker drawer and see if I've got something I like better. I don't think that I do off the top of my head. Where I've got those. No, let's just use the staticky ones. It'll be fine. Okay, so let me open this up. And we just want a very, very few. We don't want a whole bunch. Oh yeah, these are going to be horrible. They are rolling away from me and I'm not even touching them. Okay, let's rethink this. Let me go back to plan B. Sorry about this. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's use that. Okay. So I have diamond-shaped glitter from Michaels. Honestly, don't know when I bought this. It's been a long time. Okay, so we're going to use this little pearl-looking one. And all I'm going to do, I want to make sure this is nice and flat. We're just going to pour some of that right there in the middle. Turn that and close that up so I don't spill it by mistake. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull my and then I am going to just add a tiny bit of adhesive on here in addition to the adhesive that's already there. Okay. And we're just going to center this up right to left. It will go right to the edges, those outside edges. I'll go ahead and put that down. Let that sit for a minute, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find either some, because I've got, and I'm not sure how that'll work on this, and I don't know that I'm going to try it on this. In my design team package, I did get the art glitter, pearl glitter, because Tamara has gotten this into the store. She's got a bunch of different colors. They've been selling out really, really fast. So if you see one you like, grab it, because there's no guarantee it's going to be there when you come back. I want to go around the rim of this. I'm just not sure with what. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it with this or if I'm going to do it with some twine or ribbon or something along that line. But I could actually just leave it like it is. That would be cute. And that shakes in there just beautifully. And then that's going to go down right here on top of my belly band once I mat across the band itself underneath there. But yeah, so that's all we're doing with that. That will go on there and go on our book.